100% certain.
Maybe the priority goes differently. Weiwei gave away the Graves in Game 1. But after what that performance was, okay, another carry-style jungler in the hands.
You talked about already, Hysterics, coming into the first game is Graves, 80% win rate, a 21.5 KDA for Weiwei. Yeah, it's been the go-to for him. So he's perfectly comfortable, and FPX are saying, come at me. If you want to play the Ezreal, whatever, we're going to take this Ashe away from Sam.
The crazy thing is, you don't look at LWX as an Ashe player. Like, it hasn't fit his pool in previous years. So seeing it here when he's already played so many different champions is interesting as a dynamic shift for FPX. We go back to Sam D and we see the Ezreal, as you talked about, now support early or Bard.
I think you can leave open the support here. Maybe you want to get like genuinely the Fiddlesticks or go towards that Ornn as well. I think could work out super well here. The thing about Ashe is she does struggle against teams that are great at just engaging on top of her because she doesn't have the best of mobility. So going towards that style does make sense here. And Tien will go towards the Trundle, so trying to kind of follow up on what is some of the pick potential from the Ashe and alongside this Thresh, but definitely going to be in a losing matchup when it comes to Weiwei. So the opportunity here for Weiwei to once again put a stamp on this game.
Interesting that they're getting rid of some of Khan's priorities against the Ornn matchup. You get rid of the Kayle. We've also seen, what else have we seen in this matchup? Anything.
Sorry, I got distracted. PP God was giggling, and now I want a PP giggle emote.
I thought you said you just want a PP, so that was interesting. But double support ban, maybe why he's giggling. He's going, ha, I've got something else up my sleeve. His Thresh taken away is a big priority. Also, Doombe's Kassadin taken away is another big priority. So we've been really target ban focused in this series so far. Now the next step.
Well, it's also a lot of these champions that can match scaling, right? Because KO can go against Ornn and go towards that uber late game. Kassadin as well can go towards super late game. And I think what V5 are basically saying here is, look, lads, you've got an Ashe, we've got an Ezreal. We are eventually going to outscale you, so if we just opt in towards this scaling route and remove some of these like quick band-aids for the late game, like the Kassadin and the Kayle, we can just strive towards that 30-minute mark and look to beat you at that point.
That could just be well into the top lane for Khan. Up against the Ornn. Seen this matchup a couple of times. Especially when you want to leave Doombe's counter pick open. Mole loves Zoe. In spring, even with a losing V5, we're like, Mole Zoe is pretty good. And was not given over to him. He's already played it 3 times here in Summer, and he will show us a 4th time if it's enough to pull V5 over the line as a support needed for PP God.
Has played the Nautilus before, more than likely going to be something like the Naut or the Leona here. Leona will give you a lot better when it comes to team fights and the long range potential in fights onto the Ashe, but it doesn't pair too hot into the likes of Thresh, at least in lane. But I think at this stage, when you're paired with an Ezreal, you're like, look, we're not really fighting for the lane here. We're looking for more of that team fight oriented play. So V5 with the Graves, a Zoe, and an Ezreal are really strong off of those 2 items. And especially when you got this Ornn here as well, they can look to have these strong front-to-back team fights. And when you're looking over at FPX, wasn't sure if we're going to see Doombe actually taking that Sylas into the mid lane, but Khan going for that Sylas in the top lane can survive against the Ornn in the matchup and then still have a lot of damage, a lot of potential to turn these team fights around, snicking away the Call of the Forge God from his counterpart. So Khan in a great spot here alongside Doombe on the Orianna.
Doombe's Orianna, we've seen it once before. It was the game where Khan picked up Ornn, and it was the other day actually against Easter where it was that massive shockwave that is pretty high in the Twitch clips right now if you want to go and check that out quickly. So Doombe picking this up again against Mole. I mean, very different dynamics in comp this time around. And starting with V5, I mean, we're a bit more scaling this time, and we don't have to build up the momentum quite as quick.
They do have some scaling, but the 2-item spike on Ezreal and on the Zoe is so incredibly strong. Plus that poke potential that you can have is super high when you do get to objectives. The good news is for FPX fans though, you've got a really nice way of dealing with that because you have this super long range engage that can come through from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. You have as well Sylas who can just steal away a Call of the Forge God. So you're not too worried about poke being an issue because you've got these go buttons that oftentimes you can just use to jump on top of V5.
Don't forget the Orianna as well. An easy way to set up the fights here is, I'm curious, feels like top lane set up with a bit more gusto to make a difference this time around. No passivity here from Bubu. He's going to be leading the charge as we go into a Game 2 where V5 have an edge. They picked up Game 1. they looked like it was so easy doing so. They're on the verge of another 2-0, like they did with RNG. FPX need to show us that they were, in fact, last year's world champion, and they can stand up to the current best team in the world.
And a lot of that lies on the shoulders of Tien. Tien needs to step up in this game, which is hard when you're a Trundle into a Graves, but Weiwei once again has the potential to take over this early game, set up V5 for success, and then when you get to these mid-game fights, V5 are just so far ahead that they can win against the other front-to-back team fight comp of FPX.
FPX was starting with an invade in this game, and then they're spotted out by a ward, but also a nice ward from them as well. Okay.
I actually haven't seen that dance before. That is amazing.
I think when you play Ezreal, you pick other skins. It's a Battle Academia one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, weird. One anime I have not watched. As FPX are going back towards their red side now. They were expecting Weiwei to still be here, but he's gone to his red. They will spot Tien out. And this is good vision gained by V5.
And as well, that ward isn't going to die before he actually clears this out. So there is now... Oh, he's going to be spotting it. But there is now the opportunity. I was going to say if they didn't clear this, to spot out where Tien's going to path to next. If it's going to go Crux and look for a full clear, which is what I imagine he's going to go for. But we'll never really find out. It actually looks like he might mix it up a bit and just go for more of these solo camp clears and look to try and get out onto the map a little bit earlier.
Another reminder, in Weiwei's Graves, 21.5 KDA. He's played, this is his 6th game on it now as well, so really high win rate. Only lost on it once. He's heading up towards his top side himself. And we've seen with Ornn versus Silas how sometimes Silas can overextend and then not really have a way out.
So in this top lane matchup between BBU and Khan, it actually is fairly even. You can have Ornn do a fairly good job, as you can see right now. But the whole idea here is that you can just extend and be back as Khan because you've got the Kingslayer to heal you back up and you can survive the laning phase and then become super strong in team fight. So that's what the game plan here for Khan is. You're not going to see him trying to kill BBU unless either player makes a mistake.
As bottom lane, FPX hit 2 first. BBU playing through the wave. That's really nice, but the Abscond Abduct does eventually connect. And we're seeing more of this. Searing Charge, is it available?
It's under tower though, so like it's kind of Khan trying to bait him in, going, go on, I dare you.
It's fun watching it all because Ornn does not strike. He's not a tank. We've said this so many times. Ornn is a carry.
Have you tried to kill him?
He's literally a tank carry. Ornn has so much damage early, so you can see already leading with a bit of a lead, but he's pushed up in CS. As Weiwei's started his invade nice and early. Look at where Tien is though. I believe the camp is available, so he's doing the same.
Yeah, and you can see Mo roaming over to join him here as well, just making sure that you're playing towards BBU and Mo once again, which has been a bit of the game plan here in this series, especially when you've got the 2 solo lanes that should be pushing and able to support Weiwei if there is any funny business.
I love that both the junglers just leave one Raptor as well. Not going to let the camp reset. Weiwei hits 4. Tien going around to Krugs. He didn't actually pick up Scuttle Crab, so he's on the bottom side now, the ability to dive while Weiwei is shadowing top.
Weiwei is going to back though, so here, I mean, you're getting at least a little bit more experience towards Tien, so he'll be able to go towards the scuttle of himself and then back in towards his own jungle and have Krug still there after this back. So it means he can go then back into kind of a full clear down towards the bottom side once again.
Straight here from BBU. Bellow's Breath at the Abscond Abduct point is a sight to behold.
Yeah, Khan needs to be careful because he's kind of getting to a point where he's in combo range, but will have the Kingslayer, but might just be CC'd for too long.
Nice trade from Mol mid lane meanwhile. And last game, you said it at the end, we didn't have many kills, but it was always, there was so much tension. Yeah. V5 obviously knew their win condition was build momentum and snowball. You know, this time around, taking it a lot easier. It's about like, okay, we're going to trade this side of the map, that's fine. It's not like, oh, this is dire straits immediately. And we're 4 minutes in, it's a much slower pace. Weiwei's now back onto the map, once again going towards the top side. Tien is here as well. You talked about the CS difference and the experience difference. Tien now picking up the Krugs that were remained untouched by Weiwei.
Well, the thing is, Tien hasn't been pressured too much by Weiwei so far. So as long as Tien is able to just keep clearing like this, he did a good job of reading the invade pattern from Weiwei. he'll be fine. I mean, it's about getting into these team fights where you can still match against this Graves. So as long as you're not falling behind to Weiwei, that's a win for Tien here.
Teleport going to be used on the top side. Now, in the second game, talked about expectations. Now the setup is, you said 2-3 items for Mole and Sam D. The Team Rocket duo without Meowth. Team Rocket with their daughter that needs to move out of home. She's about 33 years old. She's got a shield and a sword. Put that down. We're having breakfast.
It's always awkward, isn't it, when they show up?
Jesse and James. It's a sequel to Pokemon where they're real life. As LPX not going to be taking the Dark Passage. The Death Sentence connects. Weiwei was coming down. PP God absorbs a lot of the damage. Solar Eclipse is out, and Weiwei just going back and forth with Mole on the horizon. Going to be spotted out here with a Hawk Shot. Tien nearby, but a level advantage for Tien to be noted.
Bubu's moved down, though. He does have his ult available. He's walked the whole way down. I don't think they...
Oh, over the wall, the play's there onto Sam D. He dodges away, gets exhausted. The turnaround from PP God, but he's left on his lonesome as Bubu now needs to come on in. Call the Forge God, lines him up as Khan hasn't stolen an ulti yet. Chris gets low, the flash forward Mole almost connects it. As Dragon's still being procced here. Call the Forge God stolen by Khan is going to knock up PP God. The Shockwave is available as well. The Searing Charge as Doomby. Shockwave is massive. Khan cleans up the rest. And FPX have taken this fight. There's no doubt about it. It's 3 kills in the back pocket.
Big mistake from V5 to take this fight. Bubu had walked down, but once they weren't able to get some kills off of that initial engage, you got to play it safe. Sam D isn't in a position right now that he can fight. And as well, that beautiful shockwave from Doomby just shuts down any sort of aggression from V5.
Oh, you've given a kill over to the Orianna, the Silas. And then Tien takes one too. Really good start to the game for FPX. This is more of the expectation that was set as we watch this one again.
So neither AD carry is back tier, so you are heavily reliant on these more ultimate reliant champions like the Oriannas, like the Silases here. And when it comes down to it, FPX's ultimate usage was just far better. Mole going heavily aggressive as well, not being able to land any of these paddle stars, so a lot of that damage missing out too. And FPX are able to come out on top. Now, in this series for the first time, FPX are sitting on 1,000 gold lead for themselves.
Yeah, a good start. It's great because, in a way, it'd be really upsetting if FPX lost 0-2. But in another sense, it wouldn't be as competitive. I want to see this go the full distance.
I want to see something out of them, right?
Something.
They weren't able to keep pace.
People might discount V5,
It's like, FPX were on a bad day. They weren't able to do it. But look, I mean, FPX now, they are in the driver's seat. They are the ones that, at least if they can continue with this, will look great. You've got, actually, PP God looking to make a play mid.
Okay, well, drop bubbles there. Doomby flashes away, pays respect. His cleanse was also on cooldown.
As FPX, though, what I'd like to see them do is try and just continue with this strength, push over towards this Rift Herald. You now have Khan, who will again have this ultimate up and available, can actually start to steal away some of these more gauge-heavy ones, like the Leona, since you've got that call out, the Forge God will still be on cooldown. But especially when you've got Sam D, who's going to be stuck in the bottom lane here, you can shove in this wave, have Crisp and LWX roam up if you want to, and try and threaten more of these fights where you're stronger, because Sam D has gone for a cull and a tier. He's not in a fighting position right now.
Yeah. V5 want to contest anyway. Starting on a ward. Sam D, PP God is actually still nearby. Khan behind the pit. And V5 now going to be pushed off it, but look at mid. There's so much pressure there. The wave's going to get pushed on in. I know we're looking top, but we should be looking at FPX moving up.
If Bubu does manage to force out Khan, though, that could be a bit of an issue, but I don't think V5 are going to try and fight for this first Herald. You can see already Sam D still in the bottom lane, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, V5 like to fight. That's what I've learned. Chris lands a hook. Doomby gets paddle start out as a 2-man shockwave comes through, but Bubu's joined the fight. Call the Forge God lines them up. The arrow sailing through and in between. But FPX have the bigger health bars, and they're back on the Herald.
You see now, though, Sam D has made his way over, so a lot of those ultimates now down with the Call of the Forge God used and the Solar Eclipse, so maybe the poke is enough for V5 to dissuade them, but they decided they've had enough. Not that call needed to come in earlier from V5, though, because Sam D's roamed all the way up, couldn't trading this play for turret plates in the bottom lane, but instead isn't actually getting any sort of advantage back for V5.
Some of those small gaps that we've seen from V5 in the past. You know, a touchback to their BLG series, even versus LGD, right? Where sometimes the shot calling has been really good for V5, but it's not perfect. This team is definitely nowhere near perfect. As Mole will at least go back mid after the Herald goes down. Picks up a bit of turret plating, but look topside. This is a big advantage. LWX setting it up as it's 3 versus 1 underneath the turret. Bubu doesn't have the ulti. Takes too much damage though in Crisp as the box goes down.
So, I mean, you can see right now Tien, after what was a shaky game 1, as the damage will go on to Doomby, is starting to feel a lot more confident in this game. And being able to work in conjunction with Crisp is exactly what we want to see from these. They are such a nice pair when they are able to have influence around the map. It's why we see Crisp with such a high first blood percentages, because he's often paired with Tien. But this time around, they're getting control, they're getting vision, and they're forcing back V5 from just being able to influence the map how they want.
It's also the Thresh pick that at MSC we saw them beat, I believe it was JDG in the semi-finals, that we saw them kind of take them down. And Crisp had a really good showing on this champion. Both these supports should not be given Thresh, by the way. Both their best champion by far this split. And now grouping up with Tien, like you talked about, 30 seconds till the Dragon. Setting up for it, FPX have priority. There's a first item on Doomby as well.
FPX are going to be able to take it. V5 aren't going to fight. SamD already moving towards this top lane. Same with PP God. They're just going to say, look, we're going to gift this. We've made too many mistakes here in the early stages. We're going to take it slow, not extend this 1,000 gold lead for FPX. And what we can do then is at the third Dragon, when we've got the Luden's Echo and some more items onto SamD, we can look to fight them.
All the Forge God going to be used to clear the wave at this point. Bubu's not backing down. Even with Doomby here and the ultimate available, Bubu could be in some trouble. Shockwave under turret flashed away from, and the Enchantress Arrow dodge. But still, FPX don't care. They've got minions to take, turret platings to keep.
They do slow down this push on the bottom side, though. You got to wait for a few more of these minions to arrive up. He does have Herald, though, so you will be able to eventually get the push going, but it's just trying to delay it enough that they can answer on this top side.
At least get somewhere close. Khan is moving back up towards the top side. Herald now finally coming in. Gold is spread between Doomby and LWX. Doomby is a big Orianna already. I think this game he's setting up to succeed once again.
Yeah, and I mean, when you've gone for this Luden's Echo build, you're looking more towards that late game. It's not the GLP build that we've seen sometimes creep into the LPL, where it's more mid-game focused and utility focused. This is Doomby going, no, I know my role in this team. I am to provide the late game insurance to make sure that with these big shock waves, I'm giving enough of a bruise onto V5 that LWX can clean up in these fights.
It'll always be interesting to see second item. Spellbinder usually the go-to, but we've seen other options here in the LPL. We'll talk about that briefly in a moment. That's great English. We'll talk about that in a moment. We still don't have first item for Mole. First item was picked up there by SamD, but there's no Iceborne / Trinity Force just yet. Bubu sitting on the components towards the Majora's Mask, but that's not there yet. By the way, Bubu is in a big CS lead. Have you noticed?
Yeah. Yeah, he's been doing reasonably well. Yeah, pretty much. And
he farmed. Remember that last fight? I think he came back and farmed mid and then went top.
Well, he was already, like, this is the thing. We talked about it. You survive as Silas in this top lane. You don't win this top lane matchup. It's more about then getting to the team fight. So this isn't uncommon if you end up as the Ornn in this matchup to actually come out as CS advantage in a couple of these situations.
Also, Bubu so far has had a pretty good series, so there's that to account for as well. Will be really nice when he's going up against the Silas. SamD's now sitting mid. Turret plating has gone down.
I'm really curious to see how big these Orianna ults can be. Because, like, think about it. You're going to have Mole coming in from a different angle. SamD's going to have his Arcane Shift. So you're kind of relying on hitting PP God, Bubu, and Weiwei. Now, that is still amazing if you can hit these consistent 3-man shockwaves. But I don't know how much Doomby is going to be able to do in that regard. I'm going to be really happy just from a fan point of view if we can get these consistently off, but I'm not entirely sure if we can guarantee that for the side of FPX.
I mean, at the very least, it's better so far. SamD has to cleanse an Arcane Shift away. Unfortunate. Chris getting a good hook means that they can shove mid, they can set up towards bottom side because something's afoot. FPX are clearing out, pushing in for vision. Khan's pushing bot, while Mole's pushing top. I will say, V5, not that far behind in gold, all things considered.
And a lot of that is going to be on that CS. You can talk about for Ornn, you can talk about for Ezreal. And although they are behind in kills, they've been keeping up when it comes to those towers and making sure, again, as we talked about, they're not giving any more over to FPX.
Well.
Although this bottom lane one is going to go. I got something I want to tell you. You're not going to like it.
What is it?
No, I was going to say for that bottom lane turret.
Oh, good.
Look at Doinby's gold. Holy moly. That is a lot.
I'm actually surprised Sam D's closely behind it. But you look, CS, we mentioned 20 CS over LWX. Has just been farming out. Plus he has the coal that he can sell anytime.
True.
And we've got another dragon coming up. FPX already on 2. Cloud Soul, not going to be as great as the Ocean Soul was for V5 in Game 1, but still, they've held control. And V5 are now resetting towards that objective. As we've got another Herald coming up as well, sir.
So we've got the Herald coming up, we've got that Dragon coming up. You just got the Iceborne Gauntlet completed on Sam D as well. So there is an opportunity now for V5 to start looking for a couple of these fights, but still not guaranteed that they really want to go for it, because LWX, he's got his Blade of the Rune King. You're looking at this Orianna looking quite large and in charge. I don't think they want to try and tussle too early yet. We're more looking at that Dragon rather than the Rift Herald that they go for.
Okay. FPX have topside priorities. Khan has stolen away, called the Forge God to defend the bottom side turret. Weiwei stands in turret for a little bit too long. But V5 are committing down here. Dragon's up in 30 seconds as well, as the Herald was taken and secured by Tien.
Instant back coming through from Weiwei. He realizes his blunder. He's just taken half his health bar with 30 seconds until this Dragon, so they can't really go and protect the Dragon at the moment. Giving over that Dragon Soul would not be a good look for V5.
I like what Mol's doing, stopping Doinby from backing when he himself bit of damage down. Not too much mana either.
And when he's this insistent on backing, it looks like he probably has that Spellbinder you're talking about completed, and also maybe sticking around to try and hold on to this mid lane turret.
In the bottom left, we just saw the Shockwave was used as Mol's going to get tagged by the arrow on the way out. They don't even need the Orianna ulti, but he will eventually steal a summoner, use it away. Dagda, while we saw that trade and while we see Herald mid, Shockwave's not up for another 15-20 seconds.
And V5 can still look to defend this mid lane turret as well. FPX looking to try and get priority so they can move into River and get vision, but V5 aren't going to let them go and have that easy.
So, Enchanticle's arrow is down. True Shot Barrage tags him on the way out. They're trying to stop the Herald and Viewbee walking up, but it gets the charge down, but not the completion. As Call the Forge God, lay it down only onto one to poke out Tien. He flashes away with the Solar Flare closely behind. Khan now ready for the re-engage as Viewbee's the one slowed down, but the poke from V5 as Sam D. Arcane shift forward is massive. Khan left alone in the lane. The trouble bubble absconded away from. Dragon's still there, but V5 had the turret on their mind.
I was about to say, I'm not sure what ultimates Khan can steal away right now.
He wants to steal the flash. Okay. He's got it. Now run.
Khan does have the ultimate from PP God, so they could look for these re-engages. The problem for a lot of that was that the Chantal Crystal Arrow was down, and Khan, I believe, couldn't use Viewbee's Call of the Forge God as well. So they didn't have that guaranteed engage tool that we talked about earlier. So the poke was free reign from V5, and FPX are forced back.
Tien just walks up and smites it away. Trouble bubble lands from Mole downtown. It lays down LWX, and the flash comes in again. Mole doesn't have much mana left, but he's forced away FPX. The turret held onto, and Dragon was secured before. As Soul Play stolen. If PP God didn't back, if he didn't
I
move,
mean, it's PP God. He's omniscient. You know, he knows everything.
PP deity, right?
Yeah, exactly. He knew what was coming. He knew what was going to happen. He manages to escape away, and good call there, because as we were saying, look, you already got Mole, who's super low on mana. If they'd lost PP God as well, that could turn into this mid lane turret going down out of nowhere.
Tara that's been holding everything together at this point. Gold at 2K for FPX still at the 19-minute mark. We're looking towards a Baron coming up, but it's way too early to be talking about that. Instead, note the items that are on your screen. Second almost here for Doinby, who is going towards that Spellbinders, the 206 CS Orianna.
I'm still waiting for him to back. I still want to see.
He
must be so close. He's been sitting on these items for a while, so I want to see him if he's actually... I'm assuming he doesn't, is why he's still here for the wave, but yeah, now going to back away. So, but it does mean that V5 at least have a bit of a tempo advantage here, where they can start to get pressure towards this mid lane and see if they can use the backing timing of Doinby to get the turret, but it looks like they're not quite in a position to try and go for it at the moment.
Yep, he went back, Spellbinder's up. So, stacks galore. Now, Doinby picked this up in the previous game. He got 1,056 AP versus, who was their last game against? Versus E-Star, sorry.
E-Star, yeah. Sorry, I was watching because
No,
I
you're
saw
okay.
that pillar go down. I was like, hold the phone. But it looks at the moment, V5 not trying to pressure things too heavily. Mo trying to get control of this top lane, and it looks like they're going to try and shove in top, force an answer from FPX, and then look to try and take some of these turrets with just the extra man pressure. And I mean, we already talked about how much poke is possible from this squad. If they're sitting underneath mid turret, anyone on FPX is going to be just a target for it.
It's like a shame you don't have Ocean Soul if you're FPX, right? It would have been
I know.
nice to deal with. 2 items to the Ezreal, still pushing mid. Colonel not too sure. He's gone 60 to 40 with FPX under his belt. As PP God is face checking, but just dropping a ward.
He knows.
He did a bit of a dance. Dangerous as Chris lands the hook. The death sentence onto Mole. Pillar placed behind him as well. The Sleepy Trouble bubble. And Mole, even though he's behind in CS, he's still a big deal here for V5.
There's no real follow-up because they're still looking at LWX split pushing in this top lane. So they don't guarantee having everyone here in case V5 all collapse, especially since you just saw BuBu dip into the shadows. So instead, just a hook, a little bit of a warning, but it's still FPX. They're at least holding on to this lead for the moment, and it's not really growing or shortening either way.
But you can see that every time Khan moves into Fog of War, the pings are going down from V5 because he's stolen away BuBu's ultimate. Sam D and PP God are going to feel the wrath of bird as he walks into the choke. Weird pathing from PP God. Golden in the nick of time for the Death Sentence. Shockwave available though. He gets pulled back in and his Solar Flare is not too good. That's a mistake from the bottom laner and FPX take him down.
He's done so well at avoiding everything FPX were trying to pick him off with, but unfortunately at the end of the day he gets caught out by Khan. Nothing really here, though, is the big thing. I mean, yes, you get the kill, the gold is nice, but there's an objective they can go for. Mole is still pushing top lane. Still a minute towards Dragon, so it's not massive amount gained. And honestly, you don't have access to this Call of the Forge God now for this part, for this Dragon fight.
You've taken away a flash from the Leona, right? Solar Flare's on a cooldown too.
Should be back up. Solar Flare is on a fairly short cooldown at this stage.
True.
So, I mean, that's not a massive issue. It's more, well, Khan will have access to the Solar Flare. Just, I think the Call of the Forge God, having that for this Dragon fight could have meant a lot more because you're still going to see V5 trying to contest this objective.
I want to see a Silas still portal jump. It's got to look ridiculous. It's just so silly. It's like, why would you? But when everything else on the board is
portal
so much better.
jump. You then get the second part of the abduct. So
Oh,
then you
yeah.
jump back, then fly in. yeah. I'm on board. I'm on board.
Okay. Hey, Void Staff, second for Mole. The Morello haters would love Mole right now. As FPX are going to get the mid lane turret right before the dragon spawns. PP God is back up and available, but FPX are waiting. Khan needs to steal an ult Solar Flare in his back pocket. Shot barrage, tags, everyone.
V5 need to be careful about moving through these chokes though, because if they do, there's a chance that everyone in FPX just dives on top of them and you end up with these big
on the back
shockwave
of the pit. Wants to steal collateral damage, doesn't get it though. Line him up into the carries. A Solar Flare on top as well. V5 get FPX low as the poke is still flying thick and fast. The arrow through the middle as well. Mole is flanking them around, but zoned away by Doomy. Shockwave. FPX is so low, but the turnaround from Doomy walks too far forward. He was over ambitious. And my lord, that fight on a whim.
Very, very close. It does give FPX the dragon, though. Should give V5 this mid lane turret, however. So it's going to all come down to if FPX can finally secure that last dragon, give them the soul, or whether V5 are able to keep them at bay. But BuBu, I felt sorry for him in that fight. He wasn't able to move for the entirety of it.
He's playing the Ornn tanks well, is what you're saying. It's amazing how no one died in that fight. This game 2 is still delivering. FPX are playing a lot better.
You have to be careful though as V5 because this is where I start to get worried, especially when you've got a couple of rookies on the team that over-chasing into these jungles against Doomby is perfect for him. He leaves the ball behind. Right, you're going to run straight over a big shockwave onto Mole, onto Sam D, which nearly turned that engagement. So V5 need to play a little bit more honest, need to make sure that they're not going as aggressively forward, but you can see it's still. If V5 have the opportunity to get on top of FPX, where you don't have these go buttons available for Khan and for LWX, it turns into a very different fight.
You can see Doomby now also has the Void Staff bottoming a screen, 2,500 gold over Mole in this game too. And FPX as a whole, that's pretty much their gold lead, bar the spare change. Baron's still up and sitting there. V5 getting control in this top side, while FPX have other plans on their mind. They're heading towards that pushing wave in the bottom side. This is where Sam D and BuBu are. They'll be spotted out on a ward, encroaching territory. They want to push mid, they want to control these waves and continue forward.
Yeah, V5 are just trying to get their waves under control right now because you can see Mole. Oh,
Sam D
no,
in a straight line. He's dead. And that ultimate pays dividends. Sam D down for 40 seconds. FPX have mid, and they also have a Baron sitting there.
How many times do we see it in a straight line? It ends up getting caught out with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Good on FPX, though, to catch it. Great from LWX to send it straight into Sam D. And now they can just turn towards Baron.
His cleanse was about 20 seconds from being up as well. FPX on Baron, 5 versus 4. This could look to help seal the deal. That's full health bars, but V5 are coming in to challenge.
You do have 2-level advantage for Weiwei, though. FPX would need to turn and fight so it doesn't turn into an advantageous smite fight for Weiwei.
Depends on Mole. Trouble level lands here. Weiwei can't get near the pit. The steal from Mole, maybe no. It is secured by Tien and turning for the fight. Onto BuBu, who can't get out of there in time. Mole poking from the side as the solo play for the disengage, but BuBu's life will be sacrificed and an attempt to get in and steal. Mole's out as well, and FPX 6-0 with the Baron in hand.
Honestly, I think if Mole hadn't gone over the wall, he might have given enough time for Weiwei to get into a position to go for the smite. But all said and done, FPX will pick up the Baron off of that nice pick onto Sam D. And this is how we wanted to see them play, was to find some of these nice engagements that can set them up. Now they're looking so strong coming into this.
Tien has taken 42% of the team's damage. Wow. That is a good role player here for the jungler of FPX, and much better performance than what we've seen in Game 1. Game 1 was very, very average from FPX, and this is much cleaner.
I mean, fantastic arrow here, but Sam D not getting wide enough to escape away. I thought he was just going to go straight up into the jungle route, but actually hook onto Zoe.
Okay, pick again. Mole dodges away from the shockwave, but Weiwei does not. The arrow lands on him as Mole survives, flashes away. But now they're searching for BuBu over the wall. Mole just commits suicide, and BuBu is going to do the same. FPX with this Baron there, big death timers. They might just go to end the game.
They can't, especially if they get Sam D.
Well, Sam D, one hit away and he dies. Spin to win from Kanu. True shot barrages away. And FPX say enough is enough. Let's bring this to a game number 3. They'll head into the Nexus turrets. Weiwei will get turned into silver if he comes anywhere near them, and the solar flare to delay will not work out as Weiwei, even on the fountain, will be pushed back. And FPX, 9-0, take us to a game 3.
Welcome to the series, FPX. Glad to have you here. What a performance from these guys, especially as we talked about being able to just keep this early game calm.